Chapter 3. The Unintended Shot. The tower room feels suspended in time for one fragile heartbeat. Marcus and James only feet apart, eyes locked. Then Nathan's voice crackles over comms, warm with relief.
Good, we got...
The transmission cuts to static with a sharp grunt and the dull thud of impact. Marcus's blood turns to ice.
Nathan, report.
Redact taps his earpiece twice. Nothing. Dead air.
Lost signal?
Redact says grimly.
He's down or jammed. We can't stay here.
Marcus crosses the room in 2 strides, pulling James into a fierce, brief embrace, feeling his son's thin frame tremble against him, then releases him.
We're getting out. Stay close.
James nods, eyes wide but steady. Marcus hands him the pipe wrench's sling strap.
Hold this. Don't let go.
The 3 of them move fast, down the stairs, through the blood-slick corridors, past bodies Nathan dropped from the ridge. The fortress has gone eerily quiet, the remaining mercenaries either dead or fled. They burst into the smoke-cleared courtyard under cold dawn light. Then a single distant crack echoes from the ridge, Nathan's rifle. Redact staggers mid-step, hand flying to his neck. A thin dart of blood appears just above his collar. His eyes glaze instantly.
Redact.
Redact spins, face blank, sledgehammer already swinging in a vicious arc toward Marcus's head. Marcus ducks barely in time, the heavy head whistling past his ear and smashing into the stone wall, chips flying.
Redact, stand down. It's me.
No recognition, only cold obedience. Redact charges again, hammer high. Marcus parries with the carbine stock, metal ringing on metal, then drives a knee into Redact's gut. They crash to the ground in a tangle of limbs and gear, fists and elbows flying. Marcus takes a brutal blow to the ribs, air exploding from his lungs. In the chaos, 2 surviving mercenaries, cloaked, broken crown insignia gleaming, sprint from the shadows of the keep. They seize James by the arms before he can react.
Dad!
They drag him backward toward a swirling green portal that tears open in the courtyard air. James kicks and screams, but the rift swallows them in seconds. The green light snaps shut, leaving only echoing silence. Marcus roars, rage fueling him. He blocks another hammer swing, wrenches Redact's arm, and brings the flat of the pipe wrench down hard against his temple. Redact's eyes roll back. He goes limp. Marcus drops to his knees beside his unconscious friend, hands shaking as he yanks open Redact's trauma pack. Hemostat, forceps, local anesthetic. He works fast, digging into the neck wound, finding the neural flechette, crushing its transmitter, and pulling it free. Blood flows, but Redact's pulse stays strong.
Sorry, brother.
Marcus mutters, pressing a compress to the wound. He hauls Redact's dead weight over his shoulder in a fireman's carry, staggers to his feet, and thumbs the portal key on his belt. Violet light blooms around them. 1 step through, and they emerge on the ridge 500 meters south. Dew-wet grass underfoot. The fortress small in the valley below. Nathan lies face down nearby, hands bound with his own paracord, a swelling knot on the back of his head. His sniper rifle is gone, taken by the mercenary who fired the control round. Marcus lowers Redact gently, checks Nathan's pulse, steady, and cuts the bindings. With a combat knife, the courtyard below is empty now. The green portal's residual energy has already faded. James is gone again. Marcus kneels on the cold ridge grass, dawn wind whipping around him and yanks the portal gun from Redac's harness. He twists the rings to the emergency recall frequency, Abiotic Labs medical bay, and fires. A wide violet disc tears open beside them, stable and bright. Marcus hauls Redact over one shoulder, grabs Nathan under the arms, and drags both unconscious men through. The portal snaps shut behind them with a soft whoosh. They emerge into the bright, sterile lights of Abiotic Labs trauma bay. Stainless tables, humming autodock arms, monitors already beeping to life at their arrival. Marcus works fast. Nathan on one table, Redact on the other, IV lines, neuroscanners, stim packs. He stabilizes Redact's neck wound, seals the entry, flushes any lingering neural toxins. Nathan gets ice packs and a concussion protocol. Minutes drag like hours. Nathan stirs first, groaning as he pushes up on an elbow, eyes unfocused.
What happened?
Marcus sits on the stool beside him, voice low and steady.
You got jumped from behind on the ridge. Merc took your rifle, used a Neuralink round on Redact. Made him fight me. They grabbed James again. Green portal, gone.
Nathan's face crumples. Anger, guilt, frustration all flashing across it in seconds. He swings his legs off the table, wincing.
That rifle's custom. Biometric lock, quantum sight, everything. I'm not leaving it in their hands.
He pulls a small, cracked portal key from the unconscious mercenary's belt pouch, the one Marcus hadn't noticed earlier, dropped during the fight. Its screen still glows faintly with recent coordinates.
I've got their exit vector, exact drop.
Nathan calibrates the key with practiced fingers, opens a small, shimmering, green-tinged portal in the air, just wide enough for one man.
I'll be back in 10. Rifle's coming home.
Before Marcus can protest, Nathan steps through. The portal collapses behind him. Marcus turns back to Redact, who's already stirring, eyes fluttering open, hand instinctively reaching for a weapon that isn't there.
Oh, buddy, slow down.
Redact bolts upright anyway, swaying, looking around wild-eyed.
What the hell happened? Last thing I remember, courtyard then nothing, did I?
Marcus places a firm hand on his shoulder, easing him back.
You got hit with a Neuralink flechette. Same trick Nathan pulled on that sentry. Turned you against me. Fought like a damn demon.
Redact's face drains of color.
Marcus, I'm sorry. If I hurt you, it's not your fault.
Marcus cuts in, voice calm but unbreakable.
You were under control of the Neuralink round. Wasn't you swinging that hammer? I know that. I've always known that.
Redact exhales hard, guilt still etched deep, but he nods once, accepting it because he has to. The trauma bay hums quietly around them. Somewhere in another dimension, Nathan is hunting his rifle. And somewhere farther, through another green gate, James is waiting again. Marcus stands, rolls his shoulder, and looks toward the main lab consoles. The trail isn't cold yet. The trauma bay is quiet, except for the soft beep of monitors and the low hum of the ventilation system. Redact sits on the edge of the table, elbows on his knees, staring at the polished concrete floor as if it might open up and swallow the words he doesn't want to say. Marcus stands in front of him, arms crossed, voice low, but insistent.
Back in the keep, Redact. You were right behind me 1 second there, the next gone. Then you dropped out of thin air on that Merc like some kind of ghost. What happened back there? How did you do that?
Redact doesn't look up. His shoulders are rigid, jaw clenched tight. When he finally speaks, the words come out slow, almost reluctant, like they've been locked away for years.
I have an everlasting mission to protect the lab.
He pauses, fingers curling into fists.
I'm bound to it.
The sentence hangs heavy in the sterile air part confession, part curse. Marcus opens his mouth to press further, eyes narrowing with a mix of concern and confusion. But before he can get a word out, a sharp, urgent series of beeps erupts from the main lab beyond the glass doors. Both men snap toward the sound. The central command table's holographic display is alive again. Brilliant green lines converging, sharpening, locking. A new trail. James. The residual signature from the dropped portal key, combined with the quantum array's deep scan, has finally resolved into a solid vector. A fresh green rift destination, still warm, still open for pursuit. Redact is on his feet in an instant. The frozen moment shattered. He meets Marcus's eyes. No more hesitation, no more secrets for now.
Trail's hot,
he says, voice back to its familiar gravel.
We're not losing him again.
Marcus nods once, the unanswered questions about Redact's binding shoved aside by the one thing that matters most. He grabs his pipe wrench from the bench, checks the power core on his belt.
Then let's move.
The two of them stride out of the trauma bay toward the glowing command table, the green line pulsing like a heartbeat on the holomap. James's new prison is lit up and waiting. Marcus and Redact stride into the main control room of Abiotic Labs, the urgent beeps from the central command table growing louder with every step. The holographic display towers above them, a sharp green line slicing through the multiversal map like a fresh wound. They stop side by side, eyes tracing the new data. The destination has resolved, a pocket dimension anchored to Earth's timeline, but not the medieval fortress world they just left. The overlays show cobblestone streets, gas lamps flickering in twilight, horse-drawn carriages clattering over ancient pavement. Architectural scans pull up unmistakable landmarks, the Colosseum in the background, the dome of St. Peter's rising in the distance, the Tiber glinting under stone bridges. Rome, but not modern Rome. Clothing patterns, vehicle absence, infrastructure timestamps, mid to late 1800s. Papal States era, just before Italian unification. Redact leans in, brow furrowed.
That's a hell of a jump, from swords and turrets to top hats and flintlocks. Why?
Marcus's jaw tightens.
First things first, where's Mathan?
Redact glances around the empty lab.
He said 10 minutes to retrieve his rifle. That was 20 ago. Comms.
Marcus taps his earpiece. Static.
Dead since he stepped through that green-tinged gate. Either jammed or out of range.
Redact exhales through his teeth.
Great. One missing kid, one missing sniper.
Marcus turns back to the holotable, zooming in on the temporal signature. The green rift's residual energy is still decaying and slowly. They have hours, not days, before the trail cools completely. He points to a cluster of heat signatures in a narrow alley near the Pantheon.
James is here. Small signature, moving slowly, probably restrained. 3 adult signatures with him, armed. Broken crown insignia still pinging on our old threat database. Same group.
Redact folds his arms.
So why drag a kid to 19th century Rome? They could have hopped anywhere. Future tech world, deep space, another fantasy pocket. Why go backward in time?
Marcus studies the map, mind racing the way it does when he's reverse engineering a broken machine.
Cover,
he says finally.
Low tech means no orbital scans, no global cameras, no quantum arrays like ours. Harder for us to track or follow. The Papal States in the 1860s, church influence, walled cities, slow communication, easy place to hide a prisoner or to sell one.
Redact's eyes darken.
Human trafficking across eras, or ransom, or something worse.
Or leverage.
Marcus adds quietly.
They know I'm coming. Every time I get close, they yank him somewhere new. This feels like bait.
Redact meets his gaze.
The question is, do we buy it?
Marcus's hand closes around the pipe wrench on his belt.
We don't have a choice. James is there. Nathan might be too, if his portal exit overlapped.
He pulls up environmental data. Temperature mild, local time dusk, no immediate weather threats. Weaponry in that era is black powder pistols, sabers, early rifles. Nothing their modern gear can't handle. Redact nods slowly.
We go in quiet this time. Period clothing over armor. No anachronistic tech visible. Blend, locate, extract. If Nathan's there, we pull him too.
Marcus locks the coordinates into a fresh portal key, then pauses.
One more thing,
He says, turning to Redact.
that everlasting mission you mentioned, the disappearing act. If it happens again in the field,
Redact's expression hardens, but he gives a short nod.
It won't interfere. Not when it's James on the line. You have my word.
Marcus accepts it, for now. The portal gun hums as he calibrates the gate. Rome, 1867, alley adjacent to the Pantheon, dusk. Violet light begins to swirl in the bay. Marcus looks at Redact.
ready to go steal my son back from the 19th century?
Redact racks the slide on his suppressed carbine, a grim smile tugging at his mouth.
Always.
They step toward the growing portal, gear checked. Minds sharp. The green trail has led them to gas-lit streets and ancient stone. Marcus and Redact move with the urgency of men who know time is bleeding away. They hit the disguise locker first, long, dark wool overcoats with capes, wide-brimmed felt hats, leather gloves, mid-19th century gentlemen's wear pulled from Habiotic's deep historical archives. The coats hang loose enough to conceal body armor, carbines broken down and stowed in custom sling bags, pipe wrench, and sledgehammer wrapped to look like walking canes. Suppressors stay attached but hidden. The portal gun and power core go into concealed inner pockets. No anachronisms visible. To anyone on the street, they'll look like two traveling Englishmen or Prussian merchants. Common enough in 1867 Rome. Redact checks his pocket watch, a prop with a hidden HUD. Marcus adjusts his hat low.
Quiet approach.
Marcus says.
Find James. Confirm Nathan if he's here. Extract clean.
Redact nods.
No bodies unless we have to. This era notices missing foreigners fast.
The portal bay hums as the violet disc stabilizes. A narrow alley just off Piazza della Rotonda. Dusk, 1867. They step through together. The air changes instantly. Cool, damp, scented with wood smoke, horse manure, and roasting chestnuts from a nearby street vendor. Gas lamps flicker to life along the cobblestone streets as the sun dips behind the tiled rooftops. The massive columns of the Pantheon loom at the end of the alley, its ancient portico bathed in golden twilight. Church bells toll the hour somewhere across the Tiber. Carriages clatter past on the main thoroughfare, drivers shouting in Italian. Pedestrians stream by the alley mouth. Priests in black cassocks, women in long dresses and mantillas, soldiers in papal zouave uniforms, street urchins darting underfoot. Marcus and Redact pull their hats lower and step out into the flow, blending seamlessly. They walk with the unhurried stride of men who belong. eyes scanning every face, every shadow. The wrist display under Marcus' sleeve pings softly. The green trail is strong here. James is less than 200 meters away, moving slowly northeast toward the river, still accompanied by three adult signatures. Redact murmurs without turning his head.
Narrow street ahead, lots of foot traffic. Perfect cover. We close the gap on foot.
Marcus nods, voice low.
Stay on him. Eyes open for Nathan, or that sniper rifle.
They melt into the evening crowd of 1867 Rome, two shadows in greatcoats following the invisible thread that leads to James. The ancient city pulses around them, beautiful and oblivious. The Roman dusk deepens around Marcus and Redact as they flow with the evening crowd spilling out from the Pantheon piazza. Gas lamps hiss to life one by one, casting wavering pools of yellow light across the uneven cobblestones. The air carries the mingled scents of baking bread, 8 scents from nearby churches, and the sharp tang of horse sweat. Marcus keeps his head slightly bowed, eyes scanning every face, every doorway, every passing carriage. The wrist display under his sleeve pulses softly. James's signature, still moving northeast, now less than 150 meters away, turning into a narrower side street parallel to the river. Redact walks half a pace behind, hand inside his coat pocket on the grip of his broken-down carbine. After a minute of weaving through the press of pedestrians, he leans close to Marcus's ear.
Too many heads down here. I'm going high. Rooftop, overwatch. Better sight lines can vector you straight to them.
Marcus nods without breaking stride.
Good call. Stay on comms. If you spot James or the Mercs, mark it quiet.
They reach a corner where a narrow alley branches off the main thoroughfare. A 3-story building with weathered stucco and wrought iron balconies offers easy climbing purchase. Redact tips his hat brim in mock courtesy to a passing pair of nuns, then slips into the alley shadows. Marcus watches him scale the drain pipe and balconies with practiced silence. 25 years of field work showing in every smooth pull until Redact vaults over the tiled rooftop edge and disappears from street view. Marcus's earpiece clicks once. Redact's signal for him.
In position.
Marcus continues alone down the main street, blending into the thinning crowd as the shops begin to close. He turns into the narrower lane the signatures entered, boots quiet on the stones, pipe wrench heavy under his coat. Above, Redact's voice comes low over comms.
Got eyes on the street from up here. You're 30 meters behind a black closed carriage, 2 horses, driver in dark livery, 3 heat signatures inside, 1 small. They're stopped outside a boarded-up palazzo 2 blocks ahead. Looks like they're waiting for someone, or setting a trap.
Marcus keeps his pace casual, eyes forward.
James in the carriage?
Affirmative. Hands bound, sitting between 2 larger signatures. Third one just stepped out, broken crown pendant visible under his coat. Armed, scanning the street.
Marcus's grip tightens on the concealed carbine sling.
Hold position. I'm closing. Look for Nathan, or that snapper rifle. Anything out of place.
Copy. No sign of Nate yet. Street's quiet except for a couple of papal guards on the far corner. Wind's light, no rain. If it goes loud, I've got your back from up here.
Marcus rounds a gentle bend in the lane. Ahead, the black carriage waits in the shadow of the boarded palazzo, horses stamping impatiently. One mercenary leans against the door, hand inside his coat, eyes sweeping the approaching pedestrians. James is inside. Close enough now that Marcus can almost feel him. Marcus adjusts his hat brim lower and lengthens his stride, becoming just another well-dressed foreigner out for an evening stroll. He passes the black closed carriage at a casual pace, close enough to brush the lacquered side panel with his gloved hand. Through the small side window, curtain half drawn, he catches a glimpse. James on the opposite seat, wrists bound in front, head bowed, face pale in the gaslight, but unmistakably his boy. A hooded mercenary sits beside him, hand resting on a holstered pistol. The guard's eyes flick up. Marcus keeps walking, expression neutral, hands visible. Confirmation received. James is alive, unharmed as far as he can tell. His wrist display buzzes softly 3 sharp pulses. Redact's warning. Redact's voice follows instantly in his earpiece, low and urgent.
Heads up. 4 men approaching fast from the north end of the street, dark coats, moving tactical. Broken crown pendants. Armed. 30 seconds to contact.
Marcus doesn't break stride. He angles smoothly across the lane, slipping into the mouth of a narrow alley between 2 tall palazzi. Deep shadows swallow him as he presses against cool stucco, carbine still concealed, but hand now inside his coat. From his vantage, he can see the carriage, the street, and the approaching group. 4 hard-faced men in long dusters, scanning the crowd with practiced sweeps. Inside the carriage, the air shifts without sound or warning. Redact simply materializes in the empty seat facing James, and the guard knees bent from the short-range jump, sledgehammer already swapped for a narrow-bladed combat knife. The guard's eyes widen for a fraction of a second. Redact's left hand clamps over the man's mouth like iron, right hand driving the blade up under the jaw in one clean, silent motion. Hot blood spills over gloved fingers. The guard's body goes rigid, then slack. Redact eases him down between the seats, out of sight from the windows. James flinches hard, a startled gasp escaping before recognition hits. Redact places a blood-smeared finger to his lips, then leans close, voice the barest whisper.
Easy, kid. Your dad's outside. We're getting you out.
He cuts James's wrist bonds with 2 quick flicks of the knife, then runs gentle but professional hands over arms, ribs, neck, checking for breaks, bruises, hidden trackers. He cuts James's wrist bonds with 2 quick flicks of the knife, then runs gentle but professional hands over arms, ribs, neck, checking for breaks, bruises, hidden trackers. James whispers back, voice trembling but steady.
I'm okay. Just tied up. They've been moving me every few hours.
Redact nods once, wipes the blade on the dead guard's coat, and glances out the window. The 4 approaching mercenaries are almost at the carriage. Over comms, Redact's voice returns calm to Marcus's ear.
Package secure. 1 tango down inside, silent. James is unhurt. 4 more, closing on the carriage now, looks like a handover or reinforcement. Your call, boss.
From the alley shadows, Marcus watches the 4 men fan out around the carriage, one knocking twice on the door, the prearranged signal the dead guard can't answer. The driver shifts nervously on his perch. The street traffic continues, oblivious. Marcus's hand closes around the pipe wrench under his coat. James is 10 feet away, free of bonds, with Redact beside him. The 4 approaching mercenaries fan out around the carriage, one rapping sharply on the door. With the hilt of a dagger, the agreed signal. No answer from inside. The leader frowns, reaches for the handle. Crack! A single suppressed shot echoes faintly across the rooftops, too soft for the distant pedestrians to notice over the city noise, but unmistakable to trained ears. The driver atop the carriage jerks upright, pain slipping from his fingers. His eyes glaze over instantly, the Neuralink flechette buried in his neck doing its work. The horses stamp nervously, but the man stays seated, waiting for orders. High on a tiled rooftop 2 buildings down, Nathan lowers the Custom 3, a faint grin tugging at his mouth behind the scope. Over the encrypted comms, his voice slides in, dry and satisfied.
Told you 10 minutes.
A small, familiar laugh follows. From his alley shadow, Marcus can't help it. He smiles despite everything, dropping his forehead into his gloved hand for a weary second.
You said 10 minutes. 2 hours ago, Nate.
Nathan's chuckle returns, low and unrepentant.
Time, it's always ahead of us.
The humor fades fast. Marcus's voice drops, serious and grateful.
Indeed. Thank you for your help.
Yeah.
Nathan replies, already moving boots, scraping softly over terracotta tiles as he packs the rifle.
Meet up with me. We'll portal straight to the carriage stop point once they're clear of the city.
Inside the carriage, Redact hears the exchange over his earpiece and allows himself a thin smile. He leans close to James.
Your Uncle Nathan's driving now. We're going for a ride out of town. Stay low.
James nods, pressing himself down on the floorboards between the seats. Redact pulls the dead guard's cloak over both of them for concealment. Outside the driver now, Nathan's puppet snaps the reins with mechanical precision. The horses lurch forward, carriage wheels clattering over cobblestones as it pulls away from the palazzo and the confused, shouting mercenaries left behind. The 4 broken crown men hesitate only a second before scattering, the one sprinting after the departing carriage, the others fanning out to search the streets and rooftops. Marcus slips deeper into the alley, melting into the shadows as he moves parallel to the main thoroughfare, heading toward Nathan's extraction point on the rooftop. The carriage rolls steadily northeast toward the old city gates and open country roads beyond, guided by a sniper's wheel 2 kilometers away. James is moving out of danger. For the moment,